That's 504-341-8255. Interactive and worldwide, that's what we are. Join in on the real conversation and tell a friend about the New Orleans Talk Network.
Nobody gives you better conversation about your quality of life.
Let everyone know you listen to
The New Orleans Talk Network.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to the Talk Network. Talk what you know, the Hostages That Fight Back edition. I am Tarek Jones Sr.
Good morning. I'm Al Mims Jr.
And we are the livest talk show on the Gulf Coast in New Orleans, talking about solutions here on the New Orleans Talk Network. Talk what you know. Brother L. Mims, community activist. I, Tarek Jones, one of the partners here in New Orleans Talk Network. We doing some magnificent things out there. I just want to give a few shout-outs before we get the show on the road. Yesterday was an excellent day here. If you missed yesterday, you can go back and watch all the shows on NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Go to NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. All the shows are archived there. They're on demand. You can watch them, or you can download the NOTN app, and we rebroadcast the shows daily. So we 24/7 on the app. It's audio, and we are 24/7 live. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Periscope. We kind of pick which ones we want to go to throughout different shows. But follow us on NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com for the latest updates on all of our talk shows here on the New Orleans Talk Network. With that being said, today's discussion here on Talk What You Know is, why should young black men pay attention to the next mayor of New Orleans? Young black men. You can start voting at 18. And you can vote up until the day you die, okay? But young black men in the city of New Orleans, especially young black men, need to start paying attention. Why did I come up with this discussion right here?
Because you're a young black man.
Definitely, I'm a young black man with a little bit of Indian descent.
Yeah, go ahead on, my brother.
You know what I'm saying? Brother Mims right here, he lives in the community. He sees young black men in his community on a daily basis.
And there was a murder last night not far from home. Matter of fact, South Robinson and Phillip, right off Jackson Avenue. You know, Terry, it's crazy, man. Go ahead. I'm sorry, bro.
Nah. Because that's what I was about to get into next. You know, he see a lot of young black men strolling through his community on a daily basis.
Running through my community, running red lights, going on four-wheelers,
doing 16 to 15.
And really, and we're not laughing. We just saying to this is what's happening. And Terry, we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty this tonight.
We going to get down. We got an hour-long show today, so it's cram-packed. We got an excellent show prepared for y'all, but why should young black men be more involved in the election process? We're going to try to figure it out today. We're going to have some calls call in. We're going to ask them that question. Please chime in on the Facebook Live comment section. Tell us, why should young black men pay attention to the mayor, get more involved in the mayor's race? Why am I not including everyone in this equation? Well, you know, just paying attention to what's going on, I think the number one issue in the city is crime for these candidates coming up. And crime is at a high rate when it comes to young black men. So if crime is at a high rate with young black men, then we should be talking about who?
Young black men.
All right, so don't get all panties all up in the brunch. Come on, here we go, black people. They don't want to be fair about the conversation. We ain't WWL, we ain't Rush Limbaugh.
That's right, and we not gonna ever be, and we're not trying to be. We're gonna keep it real, keep it real. But Terry, let me say this to you: the victims are usually young black males.
Exactly.
And the females now. I'm talking about babies are getting killed now. Babies are getting shot. And y'all don't want to hear this, but I served on the Louisiana Parole Board, and I love my people. You know, I have a young black male in college. He's 22, and I'm concerned about him. But young black males are committing crimes. They really, and I'm gonna tell you something, brother. that they learning at an alarming rate. They're learning how to cuss. They learning when they pass my house, bro, and I'm sitting, I'm sitting in there, standing by the gate, leaning on the gate. They come by with their earphones on, and they be, bro. They can learn, yeah. Our kids can learn.
They are good retainers of information. Whatever information we giving these young boys and young girls,
the girls too.
Retain it.
And I'm talking about they can verbalize, they can pronounce it. Just say, bro, they do it like nobody else. And it's sad because some of those kids are honor students, and then the ones who have grade problems, they know how to rap, they know how to curse. They know how to sell drugs. They know how to break in people's houses. They know how to disrespect their parents. And parents, I'm going to say this to you as I go on, bro. Some of y'all parents scared of y'all children.
Yeah.
Can I say that again?
Yes, please.
Some of y'all parents grandparents scared of your children. I see it all the time. I went to a party the other night, a birthday party for a grandfather. And the children running around cussing, and they just stop that.
I went to an event and I had some of my European Caucasians. Those are white people. Friends.
Come on, I'm glad you.
I call them friends because that's what they are.
Yeah. Every white man in your enemy, every black man is your brother. Huh?
Went to their event, right? Family event, was invited out. Great food, good people. But I paid attention to the music they were playing, and these are economically challenged white folks, okay? So they're in the same boat as us when it comes to finances. But the music they were playing wasn't, the music that I am used to hearing at family events. Let me say something right quick.
Come on, bro.
I'm going to talk about my own family.
Whoa. You sound like me.
Because my family is always going back and forward about what kind of music should be played at the family events. Got cheering out there. Some family members say you shouldn't be cussing. Some family members say it don't matter. They was born and raised on that kind of music, so they see no problem with their kids listening to it. But with that being said, we have to end the cycle of what kind of entertainment we allow our kids to indulge in. We have to be the buffer for that. So I commend all of the family members out there and each and every family that is telling other family members to not play certain type of music at these family events because there are babies out there. And for all those who think that the music don't affect your children, you are sadly mistaken. It does affect our children because they pick up what they hear and they apply it to their everyday conversation and their everyday lifestyle. This is 8 and 9-year-olds we're talking about with a lifestyle.
Yes.
Okay? Yeah. Kids have lifestyles too.
They're like sponges.
Listen to them talk.
They're like sponges. And let me say this, Brother Terry. 2 weeks ago, we had a family reunion in Jackson, Mississippi, my family, and trying to get the youngsters together because some of the older people are dying out. I lost my mother and my grandmother and brother. So we trying to get them together. And we had the same situation about what music to play. And some of the older ones said that we don't want to hear that music. And truly, bro, you want to know the truth? They shouldn't hear that music. They shouldn't hear.
I mean,
I'm talking about
the family barbecue.
I'm talking about body parts.
At the family barbecue, I think we could get down to some of that 70s, 60s, and 50 mix. You could throw on that kind of music, and we all can have a good time. But when you start putting on the rappers and the bounce music, we have, like I said, we got to be the buffer. And young black men, it starts with us. It starts with us being that buffer for our kids. We have to understand that these kids indulge in this type of stuff because they know that it is a certain type of music that is being tolerated. There are certain type of lyrics that make them say, ooh, look what they said. Kids indulge in these kind of activities. So if we raising them like this, of course you can see the pattern.
I want to say something, Terry, and I mean this, not trying to hurt nobody's feelings, but I'm going to say this. I'm going to start with the Mims family or the Woodall family. My mama was a Woodall. My dad is a Mims. They married. And I know both sides of my family. There's some of my family members, and y'all know who they are. I'm not going to say y'all name. The community would be served better if y'all would be in jail.
Whoa.
Can I say that again?
Yes, sir.
Now listen, audience, that's my family. I ain't said no names, but I'm telling you that I got black sheeps in my family. What's that?
I think we all have black sheep.
But I'm gonna say this, that there's some people, and I know about law enforcement. They say they made a mistake, and some of these people, my family members, they have terrorized neighborhoods. They have done some unspeakable stuff. They have touched some little babies and stuff. I'm telling you, and Bucci Boy and Poochie and Meme, they need to go to jail. Because the community, it's gonna be all right. Because some people they think that the law is made to be broken. Some people, Terry, and I start with my family, they just want to be outlawed. That means that you want to be outside the law. You don't want to follow the rules. You even in jail, you got rules, huh?
In jail, you have more rules than you have out here in these streets.
So Terry, and I invite y'all to call me and make a comment or text or tweet or whatever you may want to say at 504-341-8255. If you think I'm wrong what I'm saying, I'm 63 years old, and I've been there for a lot of my family members. Matter of fact, I got a brother, I'm going to say him, my baby brother. He should be in penitentiary right now. I'm so sick of him. I'm sick of him every time. My mama gone and dead and gone, but I think he rushed my mama to the grave because he think it was his way. It was always somebody else's trouble. You understand what I'm saying, Terry? I'm talking about the Mims. I'm talking about the Mims. I didn't say your name, Johnny.
Johnny, come lately.
Yeah. But I want you to know, I'm sick of people using excuses. We got babies. I got grandchildren. I got great-grandchildren that they're watching us. And once these children learn this, you can't tell them, look, that was bad stuff. Just erase that, and we're going to put some good stuff in there. Is that all right, Terry?
That's all right with me, my brother. And what Brother Mims is pretty much saying is that, when it comes to family, we have to respect one another's mind. You know what I'm saying? If it's wrong, it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? And if I have almost had fights at family reunions when I told the brothers that, man, you can't be, let me tell you something. We got some family members that in the afternoon, after they come there, everybody polite, they kind of shy, but alcohol or drugs, because I know some of y'all, I can smell the marijuana, and I know y'all doing some other stuff, but y'all be aggressive in the afternoon. 3, 4, 5 hours later, Terry, them quiet people, they're aggressive. And when I try to stop I can see some, you ever try to put out a fire with gasoline? I try to put out them fires. And, I see stuff, but sometimes the peacemaker, they want to get mad with the peacemaker, Terry. Yeah, and you got to be careful with that kind of stuff because people are just self-centered, ignorant.
And they got guns. Themselves. They bring guns to family reunions. Did I say anything wrong, bro?
Nah, I don't think you're saying too much wrong at all, my brother. At the end of the day, we have to be mindful of one another's space. We have to be respectful to one another's opinions. And if you don't like something, nobody's forcing you to stay there. It's vice versa. Like if Brother Mims, if you don't like something, nobody's forcing you to stay there. Yes. If a person don't like the way they've been told not to do something, nobody's forcing them to stay there. But the person who's trying to be the buffer for good shouldn't have to be the one that has to leave. And Lord knows, in most families, sometimes it's the person who has the good intentions is the one that have to leave because the rest of you clowns out here supporting the people who keeping up the BS.
They want to kill a peacemaker. That's what they did to Jesus.
And then you defend.
Yes.
You defend the BS. You try to come up with excuses on why that person was cursing.
You done made some enemies
why
now.
That person is cutting up the way they cutting up. There's no reason to cut up the way you cutting up.
And the babies are watching, huh?
You know what I'm saying? Ain't no excuses for that. I'm just being honest. If I cut up, I'm going to have to address myself. I don't need nobody to beat me up, talking about not physically beat me up, but mentally beat me up, talking about yeah, man, you was wrong for that. You was wrong for that. I can't remember the last time somebody told me I was wrong because I always correct myself.
That's right.
You follow me? It's time to take our first break. You know, Talk What You Know on Tuesday mornings is brought to you by the Plyrene Connection. Why don't y'all check out this great commercial we have from the Plyrene Connection? If it don't make you hungry, won't nothing make you hungry. And we're going to continue the conversation here on why should young black men care about who would be the next mayor of New Orleans. I and Brother Mims just had a few words dealing with family just now. You know, so let's get to the conversation of dealing with our neighbors and our affiliates and people who we socialize with on a daily basis, our peers. You know, because we got a big election coming up. So we're going to take this first break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Yes, 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Comment. Give us a call, 504-341-TALK. That is 504-341-8255. This is Talk What You Know Tuesday edition of Hostages That Fight Back on the New Orleans Talk Network.
There's soul food, and then there's food for the soul. At a time where we live to eat, the Pralene Connection restaurant serves up recipes that reach back into days long gone. You know, the kind of meals your mama cooked up for Sunday dinner. Fried chicken with macaroni and cheese and candied yams, homemade meatloaf with garlic mashed potatoes and string beans, or Nolan's filet gumbo. That's the real soul you get only at the Pralene Connection restaurant, located at the Kona, Chalmers and Frenchman Street in the Marinade.
Questions about your finances, facts, and fishing? Join the New Orleans Talk Network and Dr. G, the Money Coach, on The Money Factor every Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Hello and congratulations. You have arrived at the second half. I'm your host, Cinder Coleman Miller. Connect with us every Thursday at 10 o'clock a.m. on the New Orleans Talk Network as we discuss issues pertaining to the most exciting and prolific generation of our times, the baby boomers. So for information, resources, and booming entertainment, meet us at the second half, brought to you by the Boomers Lifestyle Network.
I'm living my life like it's golden, living my life like it's golden, living my life like it's golden.
What's up, readers and shakers? It's your girl, Rhonda M. Lawson, sending you a personal invite to the Literary Lounge. Tune in to Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the best in literary conversation. Each week, a different author will join us to talk to their most important readers, you. You can also call in to ask your own questions. So don't forget, each Wednesday at 7 p.m., join us in the lounge for Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. See you there.
Hi, I'm Linda Lewis with Lewis Armstrong Family Services here live at New Orleans Talk Network. We're here every Thursday at 11 a.m. Come join us. Thank you.
Nobody gives you better conversation about your quality of life.
Let everyone know you listen to
The New Orleans Talk Network.
We back from paying bills. The host, Tarek Jones Sr., along with Brother L. Mims, got a quick announcement. The Greater New Orleans Small Business Expo 2017 is August the 12th at Whispers on the Lake, 9734 Haynes Boulevard. It's out there in the east. Y'all know Whispers on the Lake. It used to be Dish on Haynes or whatever. They changed the name of it. You're going to have some special guests included at this event. It's State Senator Wesley Bishop, State Representative James Jimmy Harris, and now a mayor candidate, John Bagnaris. That ought to be interesting, and Councilman James Gray. There are going to be some political people in the building. There are going to be some entrepreneurs in the building. There are going to be people that come in there to network, people that come in there to find out who the shakers and the movers is in the city. It's sponsored by a lot of people, including us, the New Orleans Talk Network. So we will be in the building. And let me tell y'all something about the New Orleans Talk Network.
I'll be there.
You're not going to find anybody broadcasting in the city like this. I don't care what dial you turn to or what stream you click on. It ain't going to be like this. So, you know, we are bringing it to your cell phones. We are bringing it to your tablets. We are bringing it to your desktops. And if you like listening to the radio, then go ahead and listen to the radio. You probably won't be listening to that in 5 more years. But I will tell you this.
Yes.
We are on we are on a worldwide platform. So if you are interested or you know someone who may be interested in doing broadcasting, your first stop should be the New Orleans Talk Network because we do have broadcasting time available. You contact myself personally, and I will get you live on air like we're doing right here. Today's conversation is, why should young black men care about who will be the next mayor of New Orleans? The reason why I say that young black men is because there's a crime problem. That is the #1 issue on everyone's checklist. So at this point, we know who's committing the crimes at a rapid rate. Everybody's committing crime, but at a rapid rate. People are concerned about the young black males in this city. So my question to you all is, why should young black men care about who the next mayor is of the city? And we're going to take a few phone calls. Give us a call at 504-341-8255 to help us figure out why should young black men care about who's the next mayor of the city, and should they even care? You know, let's throw that out there. Should young black men care about who's the mayor of the next city? We got a call on the line. I think this is a familiar voice to all the people who've been following the New Orleans Talk Network for the past year. If you tuned in on Wednesdays, it's been a while since we heard his voice, but let's get him on the line. Are you there, Captain Black?
Live and in living color.
There he is, Captain Black, the New Orleans #1, numero uno crime fighter.
Yes.
Out there with the street patrol.
My sidekick, the other part of the twosome, the gruesome one.
And I'm Captain Black 2.0, just a little bit lighter, you know what I'm saying? So,
absolutely.
You know, we holding down hostages that fight back. What's happening, Cap?
Well, as far as whether young black men should care about who the next mayor is, you got to decide, do you want to be in blank blank or bigger? Now, you should care who's the mayor, but more importantly, you should care about your behavior, about what's going on in your community, and to the extent that a mayor can help, then put your votes and your voices before that mayor to give her, because we're probably going to have a female mayor, if I'm wrong, unless I'm sadly mistaken, to give her the motivation to fight these issues, because we're not going to be saved by somebody from the big house. You know, black men were written off a long time ago. The issue today is, are we going to write ourselves off, particularly black men barely old enough to vote?
And I'm glad you said that, Cap. That just opened up my mind to a whole new perspective right there. Black men have been written off a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, they say it's down to 44% black male unemployment in New Orleans because I guess it's election time. But I would say at least 51%, the old number or higher.
I'm going to two.
Anybody else, it would be a crisis. That's writing you off. When in the place where I work, most of the crackheads, most of the homeless, most of the drug addicts, most of the mentally ill are, dramatic pause, black men from either my generation or Brother Mim's generation.
Yes.
If it happened to anybody else, it would be a crisis.
It would be a crisis. And to go kind of like go backtrack a little bit, see that 44 y'all throwing out there? That's temporary jobs. And you force them people to hire young black men, and you know that's pretty stand up. But how long will those jobs last?
No insurance, no nothing.
No benefits.
No benefits and nothing.
You know, I think remember now, that's just if you're trying to even make stats look good.
Yeah,
I would argue that black male unemployment in New Orleans is at least at 55 to 60%.
Come on, Cap, because I think they did. You know, you can play with the numbers, right?
And if you're a Negro who opposes crime, who doesn't kiss Mitch's, it's a family radio show, his ring, or any of these other groveling attitudes you have to take, then you're not going to get a job. Brother Mims has been blackballed because he's a crack dealer. No. Wife beater. No.
Tell them why, Cap. Tell them why. They don't want to hear what I got to say.
No to that. But because he decided long ago, 30 years ago, to stand up to crime in his community, to stand up to lack of responsibility in his community, to stand up to lack of parenting in his community. Now, you would assume the powers that be would love to have somebody like that in Central City where so much of your violent crime and poverty is concentrated, but that's not the case. We got to be very honest about, as you asked the question, should young black men care? Well, for almost 8 years now, a white mayor used young black men as props in his naked political ambition. He would go to their murder scenes. He would comfort their mothers in the first term now. But when he was reelected, you notice that he dropped young black men going to their murder scenes.
Like a hot potato. We didn't see him in my neighborhood, Cap.
Now, he uses us as talking points on his speaking tours around
he jump in the water, the swimming pools and Nord with our children and all that. You know what I'm saying? Hello.
And that's that plantation stuff. Oh, I'm white, and I'm in a pool with black children. Y'all should love me. See how much I love y'all. And granted, if we're honest, most of his white peers wouldn't jump in the pool with a bunch of black kids. So I give him half a point for
that. Eight years ago, there were about, I want to say just throwing a quick number out there, there was about 15,000 to, let's say, 13 to 15,000 young black 14, 15-year-olds in this city when the current mayor became the mayor. Now let's switch forward to 8 years later. These same 14, 15-year-olds are now 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds. What are we going to do to get them more involved in this upcoming election, or can we do anything to get their attention?
I think it's a 50-50 deal. Now, people need to go to them because the female vote is the vote, but you also have a large number of men here. And again, with our crisis level statistics, we should be voting more than anybody else because we are dying more than anybody else. We are unemployed more than anybody else. We are homeless more than anybody else. So we have every reason to demand. And this is what these brothers like to be aggressive on the streets. They like to be aggressive when people tell them to do something. Well, take your aggressive behind, register to vote if you're not registered, and vote aggressively in your interest and hold those people responsible. Instead of arguing with somebody on the street corner, go to a forum and hold people responsible. Now, don't jump up and down and act ignorant, but I know that's too much to ask for. But holding your elected officials accountable, absolutely, particularly with people who claim to be so aggressive, so macho. The same brother who can walk around with a pistol in his waistband, selling poison to his people, can take that peanut brain, if he's registered, if he can vote, and go and vote according to what he considers his interest to be. But he chooses not to. You see, we're at a point now, particularly with this administration, particularly with this Justice Department, that Negroes making excuses are going to fall on deaf ears.
Cap,
don't understand? I can't help you understand that. If you don't see it, I give Jefferson Beauregard Sessions as Attorney General. And I'm happy he's cracking down because, as Al Mims said, Hug a Thug ain't working in New Orleans and is not working anywhere else.
I call the police out and they come out and They wave at the pool. Cap, can I put you on the spot right quickly? I know we glad that you called, man. We like to hear more from you. But will you tell just one incident that happened maybe about a month ago in St. Rock area where you are the head of the security for the building? I don't want to say where it's at, but
down the street, Brother Mims had taken under his wing.
Trying to be nice.
I'll say a young man who has some slim hope of being productive.
No, but how many other young men they had was with him in the ages?
Yeah, 2 with him. Now, Brother Mims had caught these guys throwing rocks at patrons in front of an establishment on St. Rock. And the boy in question cursed Brother Mims out and took off because he didn't expect to see him again.
I followed him.
Brother Mims, locked in with his usual boxer's tenacity, he tracked the boy down to his grandmother's house.
To his grandmother's house.
He was shocked. He was scared. Talked to the family, and his Brother Al was now trying to mentor the boy. About 2 weeks later, we get a call from the grandmother's boyfriend saying this young man tried to throw a brick at him.
That's right.
And his partners were terrorizing other people on the block. So we go there. We call NOPD. NOPD didn't show up in about the 2 hours Brother Al was there.
Did I call 911?
And flying around. You know how Brother Al is, too. I know he flies around making people happy.
Cap, did I call 911?
Yes, he did.
2 hours.
See, and I'm going to tell you, this is just an aside.
Come on, Sam.
And I know this is going to hurt some feelings, but I really don't need new friends. You can't have hood rats as 911 dispatchers. You can't have somebody who's going to try and debate with you whether what you see is what you see, whether or not you need the police. And in too many cases, maybe not this case with Brother Al, because, again, he talks to people and they love him. But for the rest of us, all right, somebody could be strangling you, and the dispatcher is saying, well, is he choking you hard? What's he look like? I know you said that you're about to pass out, but can you tell me what he looks like from the top of his head to the bottom of his feet? I mean, this is what you're getting if you're calling. Wow. And then NOPD does not show up, or they show up hours later, and if you investigate the call, you find out that what you said is not what the dispatcher typed in. They tried to under-categorize all of our criminal reports. I don't know if they're doing this because they sympathize with the criminals, which I suspect, or whether they're being told to do this by the city to cut down on the crime statistics and cut down on the amount of potentially headline-making calls the NOPD has to answer. Because we got to understand, if the old NOPD people accuse it of being racist and brutal and answering only to themselves, all right. Well, the new NOPD, for those of you who are police critics and skeptics, well, the new NOPD only answers to a federal judge, white woman,
yes,
and a federal consent decree monitor,
yes,
white man, in a majority black city.
They think everything
to the law-abiding black citizens. I don't care what happens to you.
They
mistreat the white women too. If you look at many of the sex crime victims who had to come forward.
They think everything is all right, Cap, and they say they're doing fine with the consent decree. They got everything's going all right. Am I right or wrong?
And not a knock on lawyers, but lawyers always feel like they were doing fine. Under Jim Crow, if you would have polled lawyers in the South, they would have said, "Oh yeah, everything's fine." They never think anything's wrong up until one of them gets disbarred. Why don't you ask James Gray about that?
Yes, indeed. Whoa. Yes, indeed. Well, the plan, Captain Black, is like, look, this would as
to the question of whether young black men should care about who the mayor is, I put it to you this way. You're at the bottom of everything in this majority black city.
Yes.
They're bringing in people from other countries to take work from you. Young white women are getting most of your managerial jobs in the public and private sector. You can lay bricks, you can do concrete, you can do iron work, you can do all these wonderful things, are finding yourself pushed further and further back. And if you're college bound or a college graduate, like Brother Mim's son will soon be, oftentimes you have to leave. Unless you stick around to get a graduate degree, then you have to leave. With all these negatives, I'm going to quote our president, who I know many people don't like, what the hell do you have to lose by voting for the next mayor and holding that mayor accountable?
And that is, ladies and gentlemen, we've got to take us another break.
Cap, we love you, bro. Look, Cap, you hit it, quit it, and jump on with it. You don't hold no punches. I thank you. You heard it from Captain Black, the hostages that fight back.
And Captain, listen to 2.0, tell it like it is, and listen to Brother Mims, one of America's greatest unlicensed preachers. Captain Black is out.
Captain, did you leave yet? You still there? All right, listen, y'all could type in Captain Black on Google. And listen, the brother can write speeches for a president. Yes. He is an incredible writer. I love reading his blogs because he nails some stuff. He brings it. He writes, and how somebody gonna write something and make an enemy? But Captain Black tells the truth. When he writes it, it's the truth. And then he makes these political enemies because he writes about them. And they don't like the way he write the right. But it is what it is. So y'all tune in for more Captain Black. And just Google him, type in Captain Black on Facebook. You'll find his blog links and just read one blog. And I promise you, you will be hooked. And you will be looking forward to more information coming from Captain Black. We about to take a quick break. We're going to continue the discussion. Hit us up, 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255. Feel free to chime in on the live chat. I make sure I get your questions or your comments out live on the air. And let's see if we can figure out why should young black men care about who's the next mayor. That was a great call. Call us. Let's try to figure it out. This is Talk What You Know on the New Orleans Talk Network.
We're back. Talk What You Know returns on Wednesday mornings at 8 a.m. We got a brand new co-host by the name of Bob B. And hey, that's me. Also, we got some new features. We're going to be giving away a weekly raffle of prizes. There are multiple ways for you to win, and there's a bevy of prizes. So we need you to come on back, join us on Wednesday mornings at 8 o'clock for Talk What You Know on the New Orleans Talk Network.
What's up, readers and shakers? It's your girl, Rhonda M. Lawson, sending you a personal invite to the Literary Lounge. Tune in to Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the best in literary conversation. Each week, a different author will join us to talk to their most important readers, you. You can also call in to ask your own questions. So don't forget, each Wednesday at 7 p.m., join us in the lounge for Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. See you there.
Hello and congratulations. You have arrived at the second half. I'm your host, Cinder Coleman Miller. Connect with us every Thursday at 10 o'clock a.m. on the New Orleans Talk Network as we discuss issues pertaining to the most exciting and prolific generation of our times, the baby boomers. So for information, resources, and booming entertainment, meet us at the second half, brought to you by the Boomers Lifestyle Network.
I'm living my life like it's golden, living my life like it's golden, living my life like it's
Questions about your finances, facts, and fishing? Join the New Orleans Talk Network and Dr. G, the Money Coach, on The Money Factor every Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Nobody gives you better conversation about your quality of life.
Let everyone know you listen to
The New Orleans Talk Network.
And we are back. Brother Al Mims was just making the call. You could have finished making that call, man. You know we keep it all the way 100 up in here, man. Listen, this is our stuff. This is the New Orleans Talk Network studio. Got to make a phone call, make a call. We not tripping. You know what I'm saying? We talking about why should young black men care about who will be the next mayor of New Orleans? As we all know right now, young black men is leading the city in rapid crime, violent crime, and petty crime. They stealing cars, they breaking in houses, disrespecting people. I'm
gonna say people, me.
Brother L. Mims, look.
I try to be. Look, man. Look, Terry. Let me just be honest with you. I've intervened many times with brothers doing some stuff. And he got a 9-year-old kid. He 10 blocks from his house, and his mama don't know where he at. But I guarantee you, when he get in trouble, she gonna say, "That wasn't my child." You know what I said, Terry?
And that's the same old. And Brother Mims ain't. A lot of parents make excuses for their children. A lot of parents, and when you're raising up children who are used to you making excuses, what you think gonna happen, they're gonna always make excuses.
Can I give you a scenario, Terry? I got crime cameras around my house, all around my house, and they work. I found every week for about 4 weeks ago, somebody was knocking my garbage cans down. And I forgot. I forget sometimes. I say I got crime cameras. Guess who it was?
Who? The children?
The neighbor down the street. I call a little boy. I call him Babyface Nelson. He about 9 years old, but he looked like an old man in the face, you know. Mm-hmm. His brother and him picked my garbage cans. Nobody else's garbage can was down. Pushed my garbage can down. And guess what? So I checked the monitor, my wife, on my phone and thing, and we zoomed in. That's them. Huh. But guess what? When I told her daddy, that's not my child. You know, come on, Terry.
Excuses.
Terry, what I'm trying to say, when I show you your child.
Right here, I showed it to him. You know, we got all this kind of stuff going on right now. We can see your stupid ass.
And let me tell you something. I called the police. You know why? Because that was stupid. But guess what? When the police came, one police came, and they wanted to talk to him. They was inside. They knocked on the door, ring the doorbell, close your eyes, tell them what you see. Nothing. They didn't come to the door. The mom and daddy didn't come to the door. But guess what? I didn't have to, and that was all right because the police wrote the report and gave it to me. I gave them the names and the address, so I got a police report on that. And the family members. So if the next time that something happens, they go into court, and they're going to have to do community service. Now, see, they call me the troublemaker. And he think I own the neighborhood. I pick up trash in my neighborhood. You know who drop most of the trash in the neighborhood? Grown-ups. So the kids drop it. They don't see no, they learn from us, right?
Right.
My mama had me cleaning up. The Fatherhood Round Table, we had many cleanups in our neighborhood. We got 6 and 7-year-old children, our daughters and grandchildren, walking with us with bags, picking up. What are they learning, Terry? That's learned behavior, huh?
Yeah.
All right, bro. That's enough. I'm sorry.
And give us a call at 504-341-8255. The question of the morning is, why should young black men care about who is the next mayor of the city of New Orleans? Y'all got to stay tuned because y'all know the rant is coming. Y'all know I get a rant in 5 minutes before the show go off. And I got a good one for y'all today. But we about to take some more phone calls. Hit us up on the live chat. Let us know what you're thinking about this conversation. Why should young black men care about who's the next mayor? We got somebody on the line. Who it be? Would it be? Who it is? What's happening, Bo?
Good morning. This is Cameron Mills.
Wow, what's Sam, Cameron? What's going on, young brother?
That's a young black male.
Nothing much. I was listening to what you said about the question of the day. Why should young black males pay attention to the mayoral race? You know, it's funny because the reason why we as black men should pay attention is because this is going to affect everybody in the city, but mainly black men. Because think about who's shooting each other, who's killing one another.
It's young black men. And Cam, they had a couple meetings. They talking about economics. They talking, and all these things are valid. They still talking about these stupid statues. They talking about everything but young black men.
And how we need the economics. When you have work, when the lack of work, they got young black males under that underpass that been in the service. They got college education. They fell on hard times and nobody helped them. The mayor don't bring nobody around there.
Cameron just said something very important. He said dealing with this situation with young black men could change the lives of a lot of people in the city of New Orleans. That's what you just said, Cam?
Exactly.
All right. Can you go and elaborate on that? How can making young black men a part of the agenda help the city of New Orleans?
First off, it'll bring crime down, number one. Secondly, it'll give black men opportunities to get jobs because, as you know, more and more white people are coming into the city and more blacks are leaving. And thirdly, you know, the whole general jail population, you know, incarceration rate will go down because then you have more young black men that's out trying to do something, out trying to get education, trying to get a career or a job, you know, trying to establish themselves. And it's just like, you know, we've been forgotten about.
Why? What we talking about here this morning, and we got Cameron Mims on the line, Brother L. Mims' son. Why should young black men care about who the next mayor will be? And Cameron says something very important. By making young black men a part of the agenda for this upcoming election, you can literally change the way New Orleans is seen by the entire world, because young black men are facing a crisis. Not all young black men. Let's not get it twisted. But when you talk about young black men, you put us all in this pool, and you make us all out to be criminals, when 9 times out of 10, we the victims. We the victims. Everybody ain't a criminal. Everybody not, you know, somebody out here trying to mess over somebody and do them wrong. I know a lot of young black men in the city that are doing great things in the city, but if you let the news tell it, they criminals. You know what I'm saying? We don't get enough airtime for the positive stuff that's going on in the city. So I'm calling out all young black men to care about who is the next mayor of the city, because if you care, caring goes like this. You have to actually do something. If you care about it, you have to attend these meetings about economics, attend these meetings about crime, attend these meetings about jobs in the city of New Orleans. You know, we got to get more involved. This is why we should care. Cam, I want to thank you for your call. We got another call on the line. Cam, would you like to add something before we get to the next caller?
I just want to say to all the young people, you know, young and old, go out and vote, pay attention, get involved in this upcoming election, because this is going to change the face of the whole entire city for the next 4 years, whoever we elect in this office.
Thank you, Cameron. We appreciate
Daddy
your
love
call.
You, man. I'm proud of you. Peace.
That was crucial.
I love y'all too.
That was crucial right there. Cam said something that just woke my brain up even more. If you can fix the problem with the young black men, you could damn near fix New Orleans. All right, let's get to caller number 2. Call on line 2. Call, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, what's going on, my brother? How you
What's
doing?
up, man? I feel like this. As far as the young black men with the mayor's race, that ain't gonna really matter. And the reason why I say that, I worked for Councilman Contrell and all of them before. And they already had a set agenda. So as far as the young black community, that really doesn't matter. All that was just everything that they was doing was based on who was going to be the next mayor anyway. Now, when it comes to the community, we are separated as a community. You have your churches, you have your older people, you have your elders, you have all of these people, and everybody going in different directions. So when the black man comes, he only doing what he know how to do. So it don't matter if you put jobs in front of him. He ain't interested in that job because this is what I know how to do. The people that's leaving and coming out of the city is because they see the opportunity, because they coming from somewhere else that say, this is what I know how to do. So when it comes to the young black man, if you don't get the people in New Orleans to unite, because everybody had their own agendas, everybody want to say they're doing something positive, everybody want to say, well, we night wall, we third wall, we this, we that. But nobody want to say until something happened or somebody get killed that, oh, now we the black community. You know what I'm saying? So in my opinion, I feel like if you don't bring Christ back into it, you ain't going to get nothing accomplished. I was looking at a video on YouTube about Katrina. We done forgot about that. Like we celebrated on the anniversary and all of that, but the rest of the year, man, we have really moved away and forgot about Katrina. It's just like Nineveh. We forgot about that stuff, man. And until you put that back into these young black dudes, because we ain't teaching them nothing. But we want to say, well, if the mayor get up there and he bring the black community together and all this, man, that ain't going to change nothing. Because they're not interested in that. They're not interested in that. Until you bring them back to God's word. And to start with that, you got to get the churches in order. Because the churches ain't talking to each other. You got to have some kind of foundation. Right now, we could go on any TV station. This been going on with black males. This been going. This ain't nothing new. 2017. It's been going on until you get all the churches, which is going to bring all the people together. And when you bring the people together, everybody else going to join in. Because I'm gonna tell you what I know. All of these churches, all of these mayors that's running, they have to go get approval from them. Because that's how they get the black community.
Yep.
So once they go and they done establish them relationships, them congregations gonna follow them preachers. Whoever the preachers say vote for, that's who they gonna vote for. If you think I'm lying, go on Martin Luther King and ask the Israelite. That's why they had their meetings there. Because he got influence. So once you get that established, then you could come back and say, well, now we're going to do this with the black man. Because the child only know what you teach him. We done forgot about Katrina, bro.
I feel what
and I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that for no sympathy. I'm not saying that to make the black community look down or none of that. But we forgot. And I'm not talking about the government leaving us or nothing. I'm talking about how we had to come together. Because ain't nobody had nothing. And that's where you at right now. But we not looking at that. We looking at all the city building back up and this and that. People moving out, people moving in. But what we doing? It's a heart problem. It ain't a race problem. It ain't a young and old problem. It's a heart problem. I grew up on Martin Luther King and Barone. So killing became normal.
Caller, let me ask you this right quick. Let me ask you this, caller.
They killing each other. That became normal. You heard that every day.
Yeah, and we know a lot about, you know, what we tolerate, and we talk about it all the time on this show. What we tolerate in the city of New Orleans and our communities in the city of New Orleans. Let me ask you this real quick.
Go ahead.
Do you honestly think that not just young black men, but the young black community can affect the landscape of our political process in this city?
If they come together.
You heard that, ladies and gentlemen, cats and dogs?
The political process can't do nothing without the community.
There you go. And what the brother is saying...
Man, look, whoever running for mayor, which LaToya probably going to get it because Mitch already set the foundation for her. Whoever running for mayor, they got to get the churches first. That's the first thing you got to get. Because when people oppress and depress, they run the church. You ain't got to go all through the year. But when you oppress and depress, you run into the church. So they got to get the church first. Because if something going in the community, they got to go have the political meeting in the community.
So they go to the churches to get the black people. Where they go to get the white people? And I just want to know.
White people got churches too. They go to Kenner. They go all over, man. They go to them same people. Them same people. They always gonna go to the church. You got to look at influence. It's like the rich man is an abomination to the poor man, and the poor man is an abomination to the rich man. So the rich man only gonna go to another rich man. So if you go to the head, you got to go to somebody influence. I'm gonna put it in the worldly sense. Who gonna get all the women in the hood? Dope dealer, and whoever bringing the work through, because he got influence. He got power.
Caller, what's your name, my brother?
Cairo.
You speak. What do you say?
We got power, man. So you gonna always go to that power. I'm telling you what I know.
Could you tell me your name, my brother?
Takaro.
Yeah, man, you're strong. Hey, bro, you're strong. You're knowledgeable. We appreciate your comments and your solutions, bro. Everybody may not like it, but you got a plan, bro. We thank you.
I could tell a brother know what he's talking about when he said you got to start. They start at the churches. You know what I'm saying? So if the young black man can't care about who the mayor is going to be, you need to care about who the person is in your community that's running the spiritual organizations. You know what I'm saying? Since the buck starts there. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if you don't have Christ in your life, you know, I don't know how you're making it. I really don't know.
You're making it this way. You got to go back and believe what God said about it.
Mercy and
you got to go back and you got to see, God said, if you don't want to believe the truth, I give you a delusion that you're going to believe a lie. So that's why I say you could talk about the political part all you want. But if God gave a man a delusion, how you going to tell him the truth? How you going to bring him out? How you going to change his mind?
And you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. One of the unfortunate things is that these days the political process isn't the same process that it used to be. It is currently changing right before our faces. So it's not the traditional way of the political process. Hence, Donald Trump is pretty much running this country through Twitter. He's making all of his major announcements through Twitter. So we are transitioning in a political process, and we have to realize that as a people, this may be an opportunity for us to gain traction. While it is weakened, the best way to take over something is get it while it's weak. You can't take over while it's strong. You have to get it while it's weak. And right now the political process is weak is because it's transitioning into this new world that we're living in. So we can pretty much determine what direction we're going to go in. And I just honestly believe that it starts for us here in New Orleans in 2017. You know, we can select who we want.
To a degree, and I'm going to tell you why that's true to a degree. Because the truth is not old as far as time. The truth is only new as far as our experience, which means Trump only doing stuff in the opening that Obama and all the rest of the presidents did in secret. So it's just more exposed to us now. We can see this now. It's just like Pharaoh allowing you to see what really go on behind closed doors. Because he said, well, I want to be transparent. So that ain't nothing new. We can say, oh, we're in a transition of power and all of this stuff. No, it's not. It's just more exposed to you now. It's new to you. It's new to your understanding at this point. It's just like if you never was on Capitol Hill, you don't know what they talk about until they put it on TV. But they've been talking about it.
Been talking about it for a long time, and now is the time with some of the newest technologies we have to get people more involved, because I don't know what the answer is, but I do know.
You get more gossip involved, and that's why it's been hidden so long, because they didn't want everybody else's opinion. Now, you just got a bunch of gossip out there now. And we said, well, they got to be weak, because we could talk about this, and we could, all right, just say we on this television station. Trump and everybody under him could care less about it. Because they look at us like, and I'm not disrespecting us in no kind of way, but they look at us like we peons. They go ahead, say whatever they want to. I'm telling you, the mayors even look at you like that.
You absolutely.
Look, they got the Keller Center that they're supposed to have been built 5 years ago on Magnolia and Felicity. They had me on that project. They had $6 million. It still ain't up. It still ain't up. They went and did the DJ and all that in the neighborhood. The mayor came out and everybody. It still ain't up.
Say, my brother, I want you to take this number down and call me today, later this afternoon, 504-914-6.
Let me get a pen.
Okay, go ahead on.
All right, I got it.
Brother Mims, MIMS, 504-914-1622. 504-914-1622. We need to talk, okay?
All right.
Appreciate the call, my brother. We got to get ready to start. All right, that was a very interesting call right there. The brother was hitting on some points, and he was very factual what he was saying. Stuff ain't gonna change no time soon. You know what I'm saying? Stuff is just the way it is because the way it is. We almost out of time. We got a few minutes. Few moments left. Listen, y'all. This political process that we're experiencing here right now is one that, you know, let me just say this. White people established this country. White people have their agenda. They've always met their agenda. We did not establish this country, okay? We helped put it together, build it, but we didn't establish it. We didn't write the rules. But within the rules, we have been freed. A lot of things have changed because of the landscape of the rules. So we have to learn the rules. You got to learn this political game. If you're not willing to play it, you're going to always come up short. That ain't about to change neither. So if you don't want to get involved in the political process, then you may be a part of the problem. This country was founded upon the political process. They established this. They say, this right here, this is the playbook. If you don't learn the playbook, you can never be the quarterback of the team. So for all the black leaders out there who have learned the playbook, now you got the ball in your hands, who you going to throw it to? You got to have other people who know the playbook. So if your wide receivers don't know it, if the black receivers don't know the playbook and the right receivers know the playbook, who the quarterback throwing the ball to if he a black quarterback? I ain't throwing it to you. You don't know the play. So we have to understand the political process. It's even put in biblical terms. Politics is all through the Bible. So if we can't get down with the get down, we need to get from round. And that's what's been happening. We refuse to want to understand this process. We refuse to want to go out there and get involved in this process. We think that it doesn't work. But if it's working for them, and history has shown that it can work for us, then what are we doing? If we don't care about what's happening, why should they care about what's happening? This attitude, this notion that ain't nothing gonna change, history has shown us with the odds stacked against us, it can happen. It can work. Change can come. You just have to be consistent and persistent and understand what the hell is going on. Ignorance is not an excuse, ladies and gentlemen, cats and dogs, who that's and who ain't. Ignorance is not to be tolerated in our community anymore. There are so many different ways of getting involved. You don't have to have spiritual belief to get involved in the political process, but you must understand what is going on in order to relay that message to people who don't understand. The slaves read to the slaves who could not read. Right. Let me say that one more time for y'all who didn't get it. The slaves read to the other slaves who could not read. The slaves who knew how to read taught other slaves who wanted to know how to read. But there were slaves out there that said, and I will say it, get from around me with that damn book, Negro, before you get me hung. Refuse to want to learn. Refuse to want to read and write.
House Negroes.
Because they felt as though if I learned how to do this, I'm going to be punished. Do we still have this same mindset? If you learn politics, you're going to be punished? When the people who came before us died dealing with this kind of stuff, understood the political process and how it worked. And with that knowledge came freedom. So if you want to continue to sit back and say, oh yeah, you could go and vote, that ain't gonna change nothing. Oh yeah, you could go out there and try to get involved in the political process, that ain't gonna change nothing. My brother, my sister, and you are part of the problem. Change starts with knowledge. This country is ran on politics and politics alone. So if we're not going to get with this political process, we're going to continue to be left behind. We must pay attention to who the next mayor is going to be. We must pay attention to their agenda, because if they don't meet us, we can use the internet to call for assembly, call to action. We don't have to go physically knock on every door no more. We got these devices that can call to action when something is not being addressed the way it should be addressed. And damn it, it starts with us as black men. We need to start holding mayors and councilmen accountable. Our women will follow. If it starts in the church, then we need to address the pastor. If it starts in the community organization, community association, then we need to address the president of the community association. If we all assemble in one spot and they come to our spot to come talk to us, y'all Negroes need to have questions. What the hell is going on? I don't know. But come October 14th, we need to come out in drones. We need to show America we care about our future in the city of New Orleans. And it starts with your voice in them polls. You could get to the top of the mountain and scream to the top of your lungs. But if you're not going in them polls and casting your vote, you Negroes don't matter. You don't matter. Straight up. Numbers don't lie. You can run your mouth all you want, but those numbers don't lie. If we came out and had 60% at those polls, the next mayor of this city will literally be scratching his head on what the hell he had to do with all these Negroes that went voted. I promise you. What else do we have to lose? We've been losing all this time.
Things gonna change.
What else do we have to lose? New Orleans. So get off the bullshit. Brother Mims, can you close us out?
Father God, thank you. Things gonna change because we're gonna be obedient in Jesus' name. Thank you, too.
That's our time, ladies and gentlemen, cats and dogs. I went over for my little rant. My little rant normally takes about 5 minutes, so I got to get my rant in. I listen to people. I listen to each and every way, and we are creative in our minds. All the solutions start here, but then in order to make the solution work, we have to get out there. We gotta make it work. We gotta work it. We got some great solutions on this show. I appreciate all our callers. All of our callers today had some valid points. Nobody was wrong today. But we got to get together like all of our callers initially so much said. We got to come together. That's our time. We'll see y'all next Tuesday. Shout out to, I know Mike mad at me right now. Shout out to Apostle Leonard Lucas for stopping by the station last night.
Good man.
And talking about how we getting money.
Good man.
Okay? How to get money. There's a difference between paper money and gold and silver.
Good man.
Go watch The Money Factor and you'll see what I'm talking about. That's our time. Mike, you can go ahead on and get us out of here, big brother.